Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Michelle Maher here, and I'm here this morning with Jennifer Beale. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for giving me your time to talk about the challenging times we're going through right now and seeing the opportunity that's there and the getting creative in our businesses together.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
Jennifer.
Michelle.
If you want
Yeah,
to just
for
let us
inviting
know.
me. I mean,
Yeah,
here we are. We
you're
haven't seen
welcome.
each other in a few months, right? And this is so great that this technology allows us to connect. And it's great to see you in your space and you're seeing me in my space. And, we find our way. It's so great during this time to stay connected with people. So thank you for inviting me into,
Oh,
what do you call
yes.
this? What is this show?
I was Pivot with Positivity series.
Okay, well, let's pivot and be positive together.
Yes, so I started, as I was saying before, I started doing these videos because I know so many incredible entrepreneurs that I wanted to talk to them about how they're dealing with these the whole pandemic thing. When it first started, there was a lot of discussion over fear, and that's why I started this. I was feeling myself kind of falling into that fear black hole, and I knew I didn't want to stay there. So the biggest shift for me in terms of that was I was really watching the news and social media at the beginning because everything was changing so often. Plus, external people in my life were quite watching the news all the time too. So it really, what I've done now is I have not watched the news. I just keep myself updated as to what I'm required to do from a social responsibility point of view. And it seems kind of in some respects so long ago too,
It does,
since this all
doesn't it?
started.
Yeah, I remember, I think the last time we were in person was just as it was breaking
It
when we
was
had
right
our
there,
Grow the
yeah.
Biz meeting, and everybody was questioning, what is this? How long will it go? I was thinking SARS, they'll get it under control, contain it, and then we'll be fine, but it's spread, and everybody's been affected by it now in the whole world. And it's really brought a lot of change. And I think sometimes we don't like change. We like the way things are. We don't want anything
Most
to change.
most of the time.
Yeah, and one of my mentors, Brian Clemmer, said, become comfortable with change and become uncomfortable with things staying the same. And so, to pivot, pivot for positivity, pivot actually means to respond to what's going on and move with it, right? You're pivoting with something. And so for me, I actually was well prepared for a time such as this when it came, because I'm very, I don't know, like, is it flexible or resilient or what, like things come. And I kind of live my life in like a flow. I think of it like a river, as opposed to having to latch onto either side of the bank with me wanting to control how things are. I've actually, for many, many years, just lived in this, like, it's like a river. I think of myself in a river flowing. And as one of my good friends, Joanna, says, nothing you need is upriver. And as one of my other friends, Sam, said, if it is, the river will bend around and take you back there. And so there's no need to actually force things to happen. And so for me, I'm flowing in this river, and then I'm able to see what's going on and respond to the opportunities. And there's just been plenty, just a plethora of opportunities along the way that I've been able to see, because I wasn't trying to control the situation, which was not controllable. This is something way bigger than
Right. And
all of us.
I think the natural instinct is to try to control, and that's why there was a lot of resistance, which I think was spreading all the fear, especially on social media and things like that. And the word that came out from a lot of these interviews I've done and just other webinars is surrender. Really, just surrendering to what it is, and this is a time to just be, as opposed to always doing, and just actually sit with yourself. And you can't control, like you say, you cannot control it, but you can control the way that you react to the situation.
Yeah, most of the time. Actually, you can respond. You can take time to see what's going on. As one of my elders says to me, the question is, what is the situation asking of us? What is the situation asking of me? And it's not, I don't have to like what's going on in the world. In fact, I think a lot of people are really unhappy because they think life's supposed to be a certain way, and when it's not, they hope it will change, and when it doesn't, you know, then they just get so in a tangle about, but life is a certain way, and pandemics are a part of it, as are, I mean, you get up every day and just go out without a pandemic around, there's a lot of risk to be made just being alive, and to see that this is, you know, one of those things that comes, well, they say we have 3 every 100 years. So this is, you know, I've never had one of these in my lifetime, but here it is. And then for me, I just kind of marvel with, well, wow, like here I am living at this big global changing event. I'm part of all of it. And back to that question of what is this situation asking of me? And in any time like this, how do I become more human? How do I become more who I was born to be, as opposed to how do I manipulate the situation to get what I want? And so to live with just how things are, whether I like it or not, you know, and then it doesn't become so hard because there's none of that resistance on me wanting to change things or wanting it to come back or praying or hoping for miracles or whatever it is people do. I just don't get involved in any of that stuff. I just, here's what it is. I'm healthy. I get up every day, walk my dogs to the beach. We see the sunrise. We go through the meadow. We see the wildlife. We're part of something much bigger and beautiful. And then I just go to this place of, wow, it is so good to be alive. And it is so good to be healthy, and I'm grateful. And is there really anything more to be asking right now? Because there are some people that have died during this time. And there are some people who have got COVID-19 right now. And there's some people who have had it and have recovered. And some people, you know, are still have, and my sister had COVID-19. So, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen in your life. And so the posture I like to take is this one of being grateful. And it's not acceptance. I don't use the word acceptance, but it is being in what it is and letting it call me to being more who I am, whether I like the situation or not. And can I let it wreck me? Can I let this change me into being more myself? And we don't become more ourselves when things are groovy. And that's just the way it is. It's these times that really, if we allow them to, can get in and really do some beautiful work on bringing out the best. And so that's what I chose to do during this time. And I haven't done it alone either. You know, it's
right.
Being with people and collaborating with people has been a very big part of it all.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And the thing is, on another webinar that I've been attending on a regular basis with a Toronto life coach, he was speaking about taking this time sitting and sitting with yourself and looking at your values and deciding what is important to you, what you were doing before, what you were doing before do you want to no longer do, and what would you like to be doing going forward, and figure out actually what is important to you. And that's, we've all of the external noise has been removed from us.
A lot of it. I actually like the quiet, and I think I'm going to really grieve when, well, I know that this week things have started opening up more. I'm going to grieve as the noise starts to come back, because I've really enjoyed the quiet and the slower pace that we've all been able to enjoy together. I mean, some people haven't done so well with it, but I've really enjoyed it. And it's been an opportunity for those who wanted it to be. I mean, sitting in your home in lockdown, it provides an opportunity, you know, just kind of look around and see how much stuff is here, and unfinished projects and things that we have that maybe we never use or don't use anymore or whatever. An opportunity to minimize the stuff that we have. And again, back to the value. What do we value? Is it things? Is it people? I really miss some of the people I can't see. Like, I can't see my mom. I haven't been able to see my mom in months, talk by phone. But she's older, and it's just better that she stays in lockdown and doesn't get exposed to anything in Toronto from Toronto.
Yeah, same with my mom and my
Yeah.
in-laws as well that have been just dropping groceries to them.
Yeah, and I really miss her, and one of the things that's gone through my mind is like, I had to look at this and say, I may not ever see my mom again, and just let that do a number on me. Like, I might not ever see my mom again because of this pandemic. And it breaks my heart, and it makes me love her more, and it makes me appreciate her more, and it makes me remember more. And I go into all of this stuff, and she sends me letters, and they have more meaning to me now, knowing that I might not ever see her again. Like, who knows, right? Like, who knows how long this will go on, where she needs to be away from people like me that are in Toronto. Toronto people who are around all kinds of stuff, right? That take it up into our little community and
right.
That's and this
true.
love, really recognizing this love I have for her, that it must be this way, whether I like it or not. It must be this way for the love I have for my mother. And it extends out then to the going to the store and wearing a mask and gloves, and this love for life itself, and having this recognition that these things that we choose to do is honoring of other people. So that should we be a carrier, it's not just about us not getting it, but should we be a carrier, we're not giving it to other people because we love life itself so much.
Yes, yeah, love and respect for everyone else. Mm-hmm. Really, that's at the heart of it all. Just like we've seen so much community coming together, online, everybody jumped into the whole being of service and offering free webinars and things like that, and groups being put together, groups
people
being
doing
started.
Online courses, creating online courses to help people, and then one of the best ways to help somebody to build connection with somebody is money. And we both know money can actually tear relationships apart, but money also has this genius and power to bring relationships together. And so what I did was I went to my suppliers, like the people from my network, and I made sure, I checked in with them to make sure they're okay. And sometimes I pre-bought things that I didn't need yet, like services. And so when I needed something, I went to my network, and I needed to buy flowers. I didn't want to go online and just buy from some who knows where the shop is online florist. I took a lot of time, and I went in my network and said, who here's a florist? Who can do this for me? And made sure their family got the money, and they're going to be able to eat and pay their bills and do okay with their business. I mean, this coming together of business people, the spirit of entrepreneurship, that we can solve problems together, is a mighty force. It's very beautiful to watch too, where we...
Yes, it is. And I've seen a lot of people doing that same thing and supporting small restaurant owners on a local basis. Even down in Long Branch, I saw there was they had scouts were doing deliveries of food, and I think they created a whole online community with the small business, small restaurants, and the community members and things like that. So yeah, definitely. And that's the other thing. Pre-buying services, gift certificates, things like that also helps the small business owners so that they can come through this, because that's the hardest for people are the brick and mortar businesses that are still paying rent, that have not been able to operate at all, like the hair salons. My hair, the woman who does my hair, who owns the salon locally here, she, same thing. She mixed up the dye for me, which I did my own on the weekend.
And that was smart on her part, very entrepreneurial, to say, hey, your hair, by the way, looks amazing.
Thank you. Well, It was better than going to get a box of dye and not knowing how the color was going to react. She did one of the colors that I regularly use, so that's fine. But in the meantime, she's had to pay rent. And she's not able to operate. And even when they can operate, they're going to be operating at a much reduced number of people for, we don't know how long. So I know some of this small business, some of the boutiques, another boutique that I have some jewelry in over in Port Dalhousie, she has used this time to create an online store where she didn't have it before. So now going forward, she'll have her physical location and she'll have her online store to complement.
And I think the big change of people in their buying purchases are going to be that they're going to want the choice. They're not going to want to be told they have to go to you. They're going to want all these other options. You know, it takes about 66 days for a habit to form. And so we've been in this like quarantine lockdown for such a long time. All these new habits are developing and they will last. They will stay and they will last, and people will do business differently. And it's, you know, so this is the exciting thing, is there's a shakeup of how things were. You know, we were going in the beginning, I told you about being in the river and, you know, just kind of going with the way it is and finding my way in this river without having it to be a certain way, and getting, being okay with the disruption of it all, as opposed to wanting to stay in that place of comfort. And so here we've had things a certain way and we were used to it that way, but I love it. Like now just thinking, how's it going to be? Like everything's in transformation right now, changing, and people are thinking different, as we talked about, and they're seeing things differently, different recognition of things and different behaviors to accomplish what they want, and values shifting, saying maybe that's not so important after all. And so now we emerge in this time, not out of this time, but I don't think we get beyond anything. We're just going, we're moving in the dynamic of what's happening in life itself. And so what I have been doing is collaborations, lots of collaborations. In fact, my immediate pivot was to turn to people that were high tech. Because if you want a business right now, you got to be on tech. You have to, right? So I went and I hired my coach to take my offline business and make it virtual. So now I've got the virtual hot traffic accelerator. I did that within a week. I took Biz Network News. I pivoted. It was virtual online networking events. Did it in a week, and then now I'm. And then I do the Hot Traffic Expert series, where, like you, I interview somebody every week on Zoom and bring everybody in to ask their questions of those people. And then we tape record it and I put it up on my blog. And then, you know, I keep sharing the information with people and great resources around. And so the technology has been such a big part of that, and key people who know how to use that, and bringing those people in the circles, and then reaching out to everybody and saying, look, I found this way, let me share it with you. And then people responding and really enjoying it. And we all have this opportunity to make an impact in the people right now in disruptive, creative ways, because everything's been disrupted for us. And I guess that's one of the things that this situation is asking of us, is to respond, not to fight, not to resist, but to respond in ways that are mutually beneficial for each other and for the planet, the whole. I mean, we haven't even talked
Right.
about that, but the planet's loving us. The planet is loving us because we've backed off and we're not doing our unkind behaviors to it to the same extent that we were when we were in full production, you know, just prior to all of this.
Yes, right. Look at the number, you know, the when it first started, it was just really eerie on the roads, actually, to see no cars or hardly any cars. I took a drive downtown just to see what it was like, and it was just really eerie.
Yeah.
That was a bit too eerie, so I didn't really.
You didn't stay long. You went, you came back.
I just didn't like you know, when you're used to the feel of it,
yeah.
it could be a bit depressing. But at the same time, like you say, just look at what was happening before all of this with the fires in Australia, and how many natural disasters there kept being, and more, like the ice storm alone, the 2 ice storms that we had here. They're just it just more and more things were happening. I was on another webinar and somebody just said Mother Nature was talking to us, but we weren't listening, so she turned the volume up.
Yeah, the volumes, well, the climate change stuff's still here. That hasn't changed back just because we shut down for a bit. But
No, no,
the
but
factories and the pollution and all of that. And I read something, I think it was from till the end of March. So from December to March, there were like 20,000 less respiratory related deaths in China just because the factories had closed down and the pollution wasn't there. And you go, wow, you know, we don't hear about all of these statistics going on at the same time about how people's lives are impacted by the production.
no, we never would
the
have heard
things
that.
that we now know we don't really need because we've had a chance to look around our house and see all of those things and go, you know, I don't really need all those things. So maybe we don't need all those production facilities either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I also think, you know, with everybody having to come work from home, all the big businesses downtown, down on Bay Street, all the banks and call centers and everything like that, I think they're going to realize that not everybody has to be in the office 9 to 5. It's not the way of the world anymore. Now with technology, we're connected.
The people that work for them are going to say, you know what, I don't want to drive an hour and a half each way into work. Sorry, you know, maybe I'll do it 1 day a week, but I'm not doing it 5 anymore or 6 or whatever it was before for them. Yeah, and I think people
exactly
can, well, this can be an opportunity. I don't think everybody does, but I think this can be an opportunity for people to appreciate a different way of living that is more conducive to their well-being, their family's well-being, and actually overall, you know, society's well-being.
Yeah, because the stress alone of traffic and commuting on a daily basis. I know I used to have to do it when I used to work downtown, and I never would have driven that. That would have driven me crazy. So yeah, if you avoid that, and same with just overall business meetings, business travel, is it also necessary? All the time. I think a lot of that is going to be looked at in a different manner. Again, just revisiting everything.
And the cost of all of that, the business people are going to go, well, you know, our staff are flying all over. That's an extra cost. Now they can do it on a Zoom call like this. Do we really need to get them on a plane to go? And I'm going to be interviewing on May 21st, Jane Atkinson, who's a speaker launcher. And now it's a matter of how do the professional speakers who used to have to get on a plane and go, how can they actually do it virtually? Because I think we're going to see live events not happening for quite some time. And you know, like we're all like finding a way for people to continue getting the education they need, the instruction that they need, through speakers, which is trainers. You know, that's really great. And yeah, they don't have to get on a plane anymore. And so
yeah, although we do still want to have, you know, we will still want live events, because it's, as much as the technology is great, it still is not the same as being in the room with people
and being able to hug. And I don't know, like we were talking about like the handshake originally. The handshake was somebody saying, I don't have a gun. So that's how the handshake came to be, right? It was your way of showing somebody you don't have a gun in your pocket, right? So now when people shake hands, it's going to be, I don't have the virus. I have immunity. I can shake your hand or something, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, it starts to signify something new. But yeah, well, you know, because I produce events. Well, we're doing virtual reality event this year for Summer Bash. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to show everybody what we're doing. So it will feel like people actually are there together with each other, but it's very safe because there's no virus. There's no virus, but we can do all the same stuff, and we can do business with each other and in virtual space. And there'll be some a real push in some companies to move that ahead faster. Yeah, it's kind of like some of these industries that probably would have been like 10, 15 years coming in, now swooped in overnight, you know, very short period of time.
Yeah,
where
because
all of this now
they had no choice. Yeah, exactly.
Or the opportunity was there, and as entrepreneurs, they said, yes, let's go in, we can do this. And some people had their technology ready to go. So very hard for people who have bricks and mortar. One of my mentors, Bill Bishop, calls that the old factory way of doing business, and wrote a book 5 years ago saying this is changing. This is going to, you need to start running your business like like the way the internet is, all connected to many different people. And as opposed to having just stuff to sell, what you need to have, you need to serve a type of person instead of having a business that just sells stuff. And so this type of person needs many, many things, and you can supply them all of those things. Case in point, like Amazon, I don't know about you, but Amazon has been my supplier during this time for many, many things that I need. This chair I'm sitting in, I got on Amazon. Those drapes in the back, I got from Amazon. You know, food stuff, and I've got a new webcam coming this week. I got from Amazon. But Amazon looks at me like, oh, she's a businesswoman and she needs all kinds of things. She needs books, and she needs food, and she needs office supplies, and she needs things for her garden. And like, they didn't stop with the books. They looked at the type of person, and then they decided we're going to meet all of their needs, and they make money from everybody. And that's Bill Bishop's idea, concept of the new factory, is that we now serve a type of person, and we serve them in whatever way they need, you know, providing them with whatever it is that they need. And we do that by going to our network and pulling it in. And Bill and I, we created the 10% Club. And the 10% Club is a club of business owners who come together who are in agreement to operate this way. You know, I know somebody who needs media relations. Well, I introduce them to a member and refer them to a member, and they get a nice client. And then that person pays me commission for doing that. And so now I don't, you know, feel jaded if that person I refer to doesn't refer back to me. It doesn't really matter anymore. They're going to pay me. And now everybody makes money because everybody's got bills to pay and a lifestyle to live and a family to take care of. And so that's one of the things we've done is get away from this old factory with, you know, the bricks and mortar stuff. First off, I've heard that for years, that that's on the way out. And we were going to see, well, we've seen so many bankruptcies happening anyway with all of these because people can shop online. And I think we'll see just this accelerated it all. What probably would have taken 10 or 15 years has now accelerated that overnight. And I think, you know, we'll see people saying, why am I going to the grocery store and standing in line with everybody? Why don't I just order online? They've been doing it all through the pandemic. It's a nice convenient service. They deliver it right to the house. Why don't we just do that? Or why, you know, let's watch Netflix tonight and let's order in with, you know, we'll get Uber to deliver it, you know, and people are used to doing all of this and they like it. You know, it's been nice quality time. And
Yes.
And so this what do you call it? It's like a revolution, so to speak, this transformation, this big shift of everything, this big pivot that's happening is to go with it and to be innovative in it for those people with the brick and mortar real estate and stuff. And to, I mean, they may find they don't want to renew their lease. They may find they want to just do it all
Right.
online.
Exactly. Definitely people are trending more and more to online. We were already ordering some groceries for delivery before even this happened. I just found it so convenient that I was doing it on a pretty regular basis as well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, why do I want to go to, you know, Canadian Tire and walk up and down the shelves to see if they have the thing? Why don't I just order it off of this store and pick it up? Or why don't I just order on Amazon and have them deliver it right to my house? Amazon is almost overnight. And right now it's a little bit slower, but I mean, so for people who want instant gratification, all this, if it's done properly, these online delivery systems are fantastic. It's incredible.
Yes, definitely.
Have you done that with your business for the jewelry? What have you been doing to shift things around?
Well, I already had the online store. So basically I had all these live events that were happening, right, with vendor tables I'd already paid for. And then they were postponed, and then they've been postponed now further. First it was postponed until June, and now it's October, November, in the fall. And I don't even know, you know, if live events like that are going to be happening in the fall.
Did you take part in any of the online shopping shows that they had that people put on? Like I know Mob did one for just before Mother's Day for gift buying.
Okay, I didn't actually see that one.
You could start some of those, and you could create your hub your hub of other people. You could bring in, pick a type of person, and then you could say, hey, let's have a virtual event. And then you can bring in one thing, and somebody has clothes and somebody has makeup,
Yes.
and, then you bring your hairstylist in for, tips on how to do your hair at home. And I mean, you could do, well, I mean, the sky's the limit, really. You can bring in cars, you can bring in, you could bring in anything luxury, right? You could do a whole luxury virtual event. People would love it.
Yes, right. Actually, that is, yeah, that is a good idea as well. I did see something else. It was a travel agent who came up with um, these travel baskets for, now she was, high-end luxury travel agent. And so she's come up with these travel baskets. So experience Italy or experience Mexico. I think she was starting with 2 of them, where it's the whole thing, you've got dinner and the whole atmosphere and different things, and like very high quality ingredients and things going into these baskets, so that
And
you
then they
could
could do
kind of
like
experience it at
armchair,
home.
right? And then like show you a tour of Mexico while you're having your
Yeah,
Mexican. I mean, you could have, like, it's just so much fun. I think, that's the key, is people want an experience. And so whether they get
yes,
on an airplane or not, they don't really care. They want to have some kind of enriching experience. And to think that way, what can we do to create an experience where people are enjoying, things with the help of other people? And I think that's definitely here to stay. And I love hearing about the creativity that people have on doing it, and these virtual events with the technology make it all possible. Plus throwing in, the
yes,
bottle of wine and the, the pate for the, France or something, and having a nice meal or whatever. I mean, you could start teaming up with all kinds of people to create these experiences. What fun, eh? What fun that could
right.
be for people.
Yeah, yeah, true. And with all these virtual events too, your audience can grow significantly because you're not restricted by physical proximity anymore, and how, how far people want to drive or travel for events.
Yeah.
You can basically, it's global. Everybody, anybody, everybody, and anybody can attend. So going forward, these I'm sure, like you say, these virtual events are going to continue even when we have, even when we do have live events happening again.
Yeah, I think live events are a long way off. I really do.
Yeah,
Well, I think they have to be, because there is this virus, and you're going to see people, especially in ages or with ailments that are more susceptible to it, saying, I don't want to take the risk. So that it's just
they're not going to come,
right.
right?
And I was reading yesterday about the fitness industry. So first off, a lot more people are working out now that they're at home. And some people had club memberships, and some of those people can't wait to get back to the gym. But then there's other people saying, hey, I really like the workout results I'm getting by working out at home. I'm not going to be going back to the gym. I'm one of those people. Like, I've got the resistant tubes, I've got some free weights, I've got YouTube with videos, I research, I learn all of this stuff, and I've been getting a really good workout here at home. I'm probably not going back to my gym. I mean, why would I? I mean, it was icky to begin with, touching all those machines with all that sweaty bacteria to begin with, right? I always wipe down the machines because I like a clean machine. But now, I mean, I saw a picture yesterday, they're actually going to have to put panels between the machines, and that'll be every other machine that people can be on. But there's going to be these plastic panels between them. It's going to be a very different experience. But the smart ones are going to be the ones who actually get online training and make that available for people like me, maybe at a smaller hey, why don't, we've got yoga classes, or we've got, HIIT classes, or whatever it is that people want to have on top of, so you have a smaller membership and you do it all virtual, and then you still do your at-home workout. And I mean, everybody, there's an opportunity now for every industry to be creative, innovate, and meet the needs of the people, providing them with great experiences. And the people that go ahead and they do that and market it really well, they're going to win. They're going to win big right now. 'Cause that's
Exactly.
we
Right. That's true. Because people's needs are still there.
and the
Have
collaborations that
not
come in with that,
really.
right? Because now you're
Yes.
collaborating. You've got tech people, and you've got the entrepreneurs, and then you've got just in the fitness industry, then you've got the fitness instructors, and then you've got the people that actually buy all of that, and then you've got all the manufacturers, and then you could bring in food companies, you know, and you could bring in lease equipment. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can just start thinking about all the things that type of person needs and create a value hub around them and start thinking that way, as opposed to this brick and mortar, this is what we sell and we don't sell anything else from it. It's a matter of, you know what, who are you, what do you need, and we'll help you get whatever you need.
Right. Yeah. That's very interesting because it also goes to the whole everybody's at home and everybody's working at home and the kids are at home, and before there was all this work-life balance and you're there 9 to 5 whatever it is, and then you come home and you rush to make dinner and all that, and now it's like with technology, even if you work for a company, you're on call all the time with the phones and everything, and so it's more like it's like a whole life balance. That was kind of a term that we came up with in another webinar when I was speaking to somebody. It's really just there's not work and it's not work
There's
and
no
life. There's
fragmentation
no
anymore.
separate. Yeah.
There's no fragmentation. I call it convergence. And so you start to
Right.
bring everything in together and overlap it and live from the sweet spot. You know, you take every area, if it converges in, then you live in this sweet spot. And so I've been doing this for years, like 10 years, convergence, which is probably why I found this really easy, because I have very high social needs and I get a lot of those needs met through business meetings. So, you know, using YouTube or meeting people in person or whatever is fine, but like I'm in touch with people all day long. But I converged my community with my career. I brought those two together. And
Yeah.
so now I don't have to have separate friends from my community, because they're just all business people. In fact, if people don't own a business, they probably won't become my friend, because it takes a lot of time, right? And then, you know, you taking your passion, right? Like your calling in life, and you bring that in somehow, you know, maybe you bring that into your career as well, and you overlap that. And now all of a sudden you're really passionate about the work that you do, and that's fulfilling that creativity desire within you, and you're creating and you're doing stuff, but you're doing for now you don't have to go and take pottery lessons or painting or whatever it is you had as a creative hobby on the side. Right now it's that needs being satisfied. So now there's less fragmentation, and you know, then you just get everything happening in a life that's compared. I really don't believe that there's work-life balance, to be honest.
No, I never believed in it in the
I
first
mean,
place.
people that try and do that kind of go crazy trying to make it happen, or they become really lazy because there's just too much to try and balance. But you know, bring your life in and make it whole, and that's where things really start happening. So,
right, exactly, because then you're aligned.
The pivot to positivity here that we've come up with is these changes that are happening are, yeah, they're not landing well for everybody. Let's be clear about that. And for those they're not landing well for, I have much compassion for the people where this change actually is having a negative impact on their life. And then at the same time, this rise within people of this creative juice that's coming up out of all of it, and creating new and better ways for people to live healthier, more connected, having less of an impact on the planet, better connection with family, more time with family, more care for neighbors, more awarenesses of their consumption patterns and being able to consume less. And I mean, we can look at this as being positive. Some people wouldn't see that as positive. I see that as really positive moves in my life and in other people's lives, where we can get more into the heart of who we are and the heart of who other people are, and that deeper connection, and a deeper connection with this planet that provides us with everything that we need and sustains us, that we have not been taking very good care of for a long time.
Right, totally, because we are connected to the earth. And we don't, we, like you say, the feeling has always been that we're here and like we own the earth or something to that extent, as
Yeah, yeah.
opposed to the earth letting us live here.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Well, we're at the top of the food chain, okay? And we depend on every other creature and species here and the interweb of all of that. Nothing needs us. Nothing except our domestic animals needs us on this planet. And we do not live that way.
No,
We live
no.
as if everything is ours to consume whatever way we want. And this is an opportunity right now to examine that and open up to our thinking and recognize how one thing can come in and shut down the whole world. And we had no control over it whatsoever. And that shows us.
Yeah, and look at that. Look at it. Everything was shut down. Like who would have ever expected, you know,
The
everything
whole
to get shut
world.
down to this extent?
And the whole world cooperating with that, you know, had no choice but to cooperate with this virus that you can't even see, you know?
Right.
It's kind
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to why it was so, you know, kind of scary at the beginning, because it was all changing so quickly and to such an extent. But if you flip that around and think of how much, you know, what that virus did and the impact it had on a global basis, and you switch that around to something, you know, collaboration, community, and kindness, and how much we can achieve going forward on a global basis.
and to recognize
When
that,
we come together.
to have that skill of recognition that in all of this was something we didn't like, that we had no control over, that we don't really understand, that in all of that, we can become more human we can become human beings and more human toward each other and kind and caring and compassionate. Can we carry that spirit? And I think that that's my choice, to allow myself to have been wrecked by this and opened up to become more Jennifer and to connect more with people. And I think this is amazing that you would provide this forum to have these kind of conversations. So thank you for your leadership.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Definitely, that's my hope for the world as well. And I'm choosing to become more human going forward, and collaboration is going to be key going forward as well. Definitely.
Yeah. So what can I do to help you today?
Well, we'll talk about that, I guess, offline.
Let's jump on a call and talk together. I want to hear about your business and maybe some of these ideas I'm talking about for an event, like a luxury.
Sure. Yes.
I got some ideas just hearing about it and looking at your gorgeous stuff in the background, and you're bejeweled with all your beautiful jewelry.
Yeah, and I do have a lot of inventory because, as I said, I was gearing up for, you know, March, April, May, quite a few events that I had coming up, and I'm also fortunate because I just did the photo shoot right before, on March 10th. I had a photo shoot with Natalie.
Oh, so you got stuff done. That's good.
And she's already sent them back. Great, absolutely great pictures. So going forward, that was kind of my, you know, I was doing my messaging and things like that. Plus I just got MichelleMaher.com website, which had been taken. So yeah, so lots of exciting things going forward.
For definitely. You, and so you're pivoting and you're finding your way in all of this.
Well, it's, I mean,
let's move that inventory. Let's jump on a call. Let's talk about your inventory, and let's move it, because you know what? Here's the thing to always remember as an entrepreneur. One is, we may not be politicians, we may not be frontline medical workers, we may not be the scientists or whatever, but as entrepreneurs, we have a role in all of this to do something about it, because we're problem solvers. And here's the thing that I've seen is that the problems people haven't gone away. There's just more of them because now they're managing a household where everybody is there all the time, right? Or how to get stuff and distribution. But here's the thing is that people still need gifts. People are on Zooms and they need to look good. People like nice things. And so there's still these problems that people have. It's the same things. And so it's just a matter of them knowing that you've got this beautiful jewels. I mean, is that green? Does that have green in it, the one you're wearing? That would look so good.
It actually is, it has green and purple. It's
Wouldn't that look good on this?
yes, true, true. Yeah,
Okay, let's
yeah.
jump on a call. Let's talk about your business and that, and just finding the people that still need gifts. You know, one of the things that I did,
Yeah, everybody still has their birthday.
everybody still has birthdays and stuff, but I'll tell you one thing that I did was I was really missing my family. And so one day I went on Amazon and I bought them these great big chocolate bars and sent them to their houses as a surprise, right? And this whole idea of like gifts and still giving, and if you love to give gifts, that hasn't stopped. And, you know, we still have some cash flow. Some of us have reserves. Some of us are making money. The government's taking care of those who don't. You know, it's all okay, and we still need gifts. So let's find
Yes,
a
we
way.
do. And like you say, and people do need to look good on Zoom. And it's going to be the future. There's going to be all the live events and videos and everything that people are doing, webinars, whatever. You have to look good. So
You
yeah.
gotta look good, yeah. So
All right.
a pleasure talking with you. Thanks so much for inviting me to have a chit chat like this. You know, it's good just to talk about these things, and I appreciate your ideas as well. You've given me lots to think about today and going forward on how I can be more myself and share more of myself with others. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining me. And I look forward to talking to you. And then, of course, when we can see each other in person.
I can't wait. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you. And bye, everybody, for now.
Bye, everybody. Stay well.